This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup, register, and attend one of our fantastic networking meetings, which we meet on the first and third Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park, and the second and fourth Thursday at the Upper Crust in Newtown Square. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Jason DeMaria of New Image Restoration. Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Rich, how are you, man? It's a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to this thing.
Me too. Good to see you. Jason, what is New Image Restoration?
So New Image Restoration is a local water damage restoration company. We offer water damage restoration services like drying homes, pumping out water for flooded basements, sewage backups, where the roof gets blown off the house and there's rain everywhere. So any kind of interior damage or mitigation services we'll provide, as well as fire damage, mold damage, and general construction work like drywall, flooring, paint, and all that kind of good stuff.
What can people expect when they work with you, Jason?
What people can expect when they work with us is top quality customer service. We really pride ourselves on communication with the customer and making sure they have a great experience with New Image Restoration. And we have a good amount of reviews online to show that's important for us, as well as top quality work, because it's very important for us to take care of everybody in the community in a time of need, like a fire damage or emergency flood or an emergency tarp where the roof gets blown off the house. They're very vulnerable at that time. A lot of people have never experienced it before, so they're not sure what to do. And they really need somebody that they can trust to walk them through the process, because most of the time it's an insurance claim. And, people always try to take advantage of people and all kinds of stuff when there's a good amount of money involved. So that's really important for us, is the communication, the customer service, the quality of work, and ensuring that we take care of the customer, get them to the finish line, and get their property back to pre-loss conditions so they can move back in the property.
How did you get started in this business?
That's a great question. I got started in this business because 4 years ago, I started a carpet and furniture cleaning company. We bought a bunch of equipment and we were doing carpet and furniture cleaning, just like Stanley Steamer. In the wintertime, it would get slow. So one winter I was on Facebook groups and asking older people from my neighborhood, kind of, other businesses and stuff that I could do. And one gentleman named Rob said, "Hey, you already have all of the equipment for water damage because of the carpet cleaning company. So you should, look into that." So I looked into it. I went to this class and got certified, and then, started doing water damage jobs. After the first 5 or 6, I realized that it's way more lucrative and beneficial than carpet and furniture cleaning jobs. So I ended up just really putting all my focus and energy towards that. And I'll still occasionally do carpet and furniture cleaning. Maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week, I'll load those days up with carpet and furniture cleaning and send 1 or 2 guys to knock it out. But for the most part now, it's mainly water damage, small claims, fire damage, and general construction work. The money is just a lot bigger and the volume is a lot smaller. And so that's, more appealing to me.
You talk about water damage. I'm sure your experience is there are quite a few ways water is going to get into our homes or basements. Talk about some of those problems that some of the homeowners will run into.
Okay, that's a great question. And a lot of people think that it's only when it's a big storm and stuff like that. I think there's not that many water damage jobs, but surprisingly there is. Just from like burst pipes, dishwashers overflowing, or the drain line going bad, all the supply lines in the house, all the drain lines in the house, like a crack on a toilet, the wax seal on a toilet could crack as well. That'll have sewage going through your house. And, I've even done some where it's as silly as the washing drying machine. The drain line for the machine has gotten knocked out of that utility sink where it drains and flooded the basement. I've done quite a few of those. So it's a lot of unexpected stuff that you would never really think. And it happens more times than you could ever even imagine. Probably I'm sure 50 to 100 people experience that a day just in this local neighborhood.
You talk about water damage, and you mentioned some of those things. It could be slow leaks that you don't know until it gets to be a point where you see what's happening. And then you go into mold restoration or mold remediation. How does that work? And what's the process for doing the mold remediation?
Okay, so for what you're referring to, that's a great observation. So the slow leaks and stuff like that are a little tricky because you really can't tell until it becomes an issue, right? So how I usually direct the customers on something like that is just staying on top of your annual maintenance for the roof, the plumbing, and all of that kind of stuff. That will ensure that you don't really have any hidden leaks or slow leaks, and you could avoid that situation. Of course, sometimes it'll still happen unexpectedly, something that you can't really prevent at all. But if you do that maintenance, you know your shot is a lot better than if you don't. And then as far as the mold, so what usually happens is after the water damage or the moisture level in the environment is so high, it starts to grow mold after roughly 72 hours, right? So over a large period of time, a good amount of mold can grow behind the wall that you don't even see. And the reason that it's so important that you're not living with mold is that some of the spores grow up to the size of like a grain of salt and even smaller than that. That's so small that you can't even see them. So when you breathe them in, they get stuck in your lungs. And because they're so small, when you cough or when you try to get them out, they won't come out. They'll stick to your lungs. And over a period of time, it's just like bacteria growing in your lungs. You eventually get sick and, it's really not good. Some people even are allergic to it. So some people will, they'll be more evident than others, but it's just like asbestos. Like it could be dormant or you could have it in your lungs and you don't have any idea. And there's like a lot of other things that make it unsafe, but those are just like the most mainstream ones.
You touched upon obviously working with an insurance company when you have a catastrophic claim or issue. It's a matter of being top of mind or being in the mind of the consumer, the homeowner. How do you do that? How do you say, hey, have that homeowner say to the insurance company, I have a restoration company already. I'd like to use them.
Yep, exactly. So for so we work directly with some of the insurance carriers. So there's a couple ways we do it. We work directly with a lot of the insurance carriers like Allstate, State Farm, and a lot of them we work directly with the carrier to perform the projects. And then besides that, we'll do stuff like Google marketing, SEO. Really a big one is building relationships, like coming on to, stuff like this, going to events and conventions, local contractors and servicemen that do the same kind of stuff. Or like a good example for our industry is plumbers, right? A lot of water damage companies will go after all of the plumbers and try to build that relationship and explain that if they send them the water damage jobs, they'll give them $400 to $500 per lead and build that relationship. And that's really a big one for the water damage industry. But of course, that's one of the more common ones. So now the plumbing referral rate has gone so high. I've seen some people pay as high as $1,000, which, is just too much because not every time is the job going to be that big. There's a lot of small jobs, and sometimes the job's smaller than the cost of the deductible. So there's no reason to make a claim because sometimes people have a high deductible if they've had a lot of claims or if they're paying a low premium. But for us, we've kind of tried to not really go for the same thing that everybody else is doing in the plumbers. Of course, we still do connect with plumbers and build relationships with plumbers because that's important for us, even without the referral, because they'll fix the source sometimes, like the drain, the supply line, because we don't do any of the actual plumbing work. But the main ways that we like to get on the top of people's minds or be the first person they call is connecting with like public adjusters and trying to really get at the top of Google and just really building relationships is really the biggest one, because once you build that relationship, it's not like you have to pay per person. You might if that's what the relationship is, but usually it's like, I give you my plumbing jobs, you give me your water jobs, we work together, and we build a nice working relationship.
Jason, who mentors you? Who impacts you in your life?
Oh, that's a good one. So it's really a hard call. I would say, as far as business and water damage, there's a gentleman by the name of Alex Duda, and he created a software called Albiware, and it's actually our CRM for our company. But he started with water damage and turned it into a big company, and then made this software. So I listen to a lot of the stuff he says. I'm in one of his mentor groups. And funny enough, I'm actually about to meet him today over in New Jersey. But I listened to a lot of the stuff he says because he's had a restoration company that I think does 10 or 20 million in annual revenue. So, if I can replicate my business to look like his business, that would be great. And then as far as personal life and just life in general, my dad, my mom, and my buddy Tashi, because he's a business guy as well. So, not everybody can I talk to about stuff and it makes sense for them. So with Tashi, he does business too. He's actually a partner for this business as well. So, I'll look to him sometimes for, double checking what I'm thinking, or, sometimes I'm not good at making big decisions. Sometimes I'll ask him, do you think this is a good idea? He says, no, what I mean? I don't even want to waste any more time or energy on it and move on. Because I find myself spending a lot of time thinking about stuff that's not really important. Like one single text message to a customer, I want to make sure I get my point across and the message right. And I'll spend 30 minutes thinking about it. So I'm really trying to work on that too as a whole.
How do people find you? How do they connect with you to employ your services?
So we have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page, Google, of course. Our main phone number and the phone number that's on 24/7 for all emergencies, any time of the day or night, you can call and get somebody. It's our 215-240-2281 number. And, like I was saying, you can call that number at any time or send messages. And then, of course, we do Facebook, everything that you can think of: Facebook, Google, Instagram, Yelp. We're on Yelp. All that kind of stuff. You can get us there. I've actually got a couple from Instagram, just people seeing stories and stuff, of stuff that I do, and then them reaching out and saying like, hey, my buddy has a fire in Delaware, can you come take a look? And so funny enough, Instagram works sometimes.
It's New Image Restoration on the socials?
Yep, exactly. New Image Restoration. And the logo has fire, water, and a house in it with New Image on it.
Just like that on the shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You're out and about go to a job and you need a cheesesteak and you want to fulfill that craving. Where are you going?
Ooh, I think everybody says Pat's and Geno's, but really, I don't think they're the best. I like Jim's. If you know Jim's, the one that used to be in West Philly was really the one. But even I haven't been there in such a long time. I've really been messing with Savera's Deli on State Road.
You fulfilled that cheesesteak craving and you have a pizza desire. Where are you going for pizza?
For the pizza. Funny enough, I'm an Imperial guy. I really like that Imperial pizza. And, it's, really good price. So I'm an Imperial guy.
All right. It's got to be value driven on your pizza, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's Sandy Bottom.
Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms when you have a convenience store need?
Wawa, 100%. I wouldn't even consider Royal Farms at all. I'm a Wawa guy, for the last 15 years, 20 years.
Jason, how do you describe Delco to somebody who's never been here or has never heard of Delco before?
For somebody who never has been to Delco before, I would say that it's a suburban neighborhood outside of Philadelphia. Everybody's really close and knows each other. I know when I was growing up, I had like 40 or 50 friends. We would go to the cemetery and party in the cemetery and all that kind of fun stuff. So, that's how I would explain to them and just kind of explain some of the experiences I had in Delco. And, I love living out here. I've had the opportunity to move before, and I'm really comfortable where I'm at. Everybody, I know people, that know my work, or everybody knows each other around here, or knows somebody of somebody. So that's how I would explain Delco.
You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to that Delco experience. Besides the party you got set up in the cemetery, where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Not that I would really do this, but if I was trying to show them how Delco would be, I would probably take them down to the Casey's on State and Lansdowne, at 10 or 11 at night, and show them everybody there. This is what Delco kind of looks like. All the different people, young, old, in between, all friends. Even the people that work there are friends with the people that are going there. So I think that would be a good example of how Delco looks on a funny kind of scale.
It's an immersion in people watching for your Delco experience, yes?
Yep, exactly.
Jason, is there anything we haven't spoken about on the podcast? Anything you want people to know more about you or New Image Restoration?
I think we covered everything. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know we touched a lot on the water damage and the mold, but we offer fire damage services as well. So if a house catches on fire, or we've done a couple commercial locations like the VFW in Philadelphia, and the AT&T in Delaware, and a couple other ones like senior living homes and stuff like that. But we do a lot of fire damage, smoke damage restoration, mold, the water damage, of course, and then all kinds of construction work. So a lot of people think that they should only call if they have an emergency, like water damage, mold, or fire. But we do the drywall, we do the floor, we do paint. We really do everything in the house. The only stuff we don't really mess with is the mechanics, like the electric, the plumbing, the HVAC, all that good stuff. We can, connect you with a licensed and insured company to help us get the project complete, but I don't actually do it in-house. So, but everything else, drywall, floor, and all that stuff, we do that as well.
This is a good opportunity to remind people when they're listening to the podcast today, check those smoke detectors, check your carbon monoxide detector, check to make sure your fire extinguisher is still in date. Also, look around at your plumbing, look underneath the sink, check around where you're below your toilet, because before you know it, you're calling New Image Restoration to take care of that problem that maybe you could have head off at the pass. But more importantly, look for your socials. Make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're following what's going on to see what you're doing. Because if you do have a need, or a friend or family that has a need, New Image Restoration can come out and take care of it. Jason, thanks so much for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. We appreciate your time today. And remember, hit that button, follow us, share what we're doing too. And we look forward to seeing out and about in Delco.
Thanks, brother. It was an absolute pleasure, man. And if you or anybody ever have a flood, give me a call. I'm always happy to help.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.